It's all about a pretty historic appointment in British intelligence. We're talking about the first female chief of MI6, Blaise Metreweli.
Indeed, a big moment.
So our mission here is to unpack what this actually means, what the sources tell us about who she is, and, well, why it matters. I'm joined by our expert guide, ready to explore this with you.
Happy to be here. This appointment is, yeah, absolutely a landmark moment, and the sources paint a really compelling picture.
Okay.
What's most fascinating to me, looking at the material, is how her specific background seems almost uniquely suited to the challenges MI6 faces right now.
Right. Okay, so let's unpack that then. According to the sources you shared, who is Blaise Metreweli? What was her path to the top of, such a famously secretive organization?
Well, the sources tell us she spent her entire career, that's 25 years inside MI6, joined back in, what was it, 1999?
Wow, long time.
Yeah. And she didn't just climb the ladder at headquarters. She's had significant operational roles. Think Middle East,
Yeah.
Europe.
Real field experience then.
Exactly. This is someone who knows the sharp end of the business, so to speak. Deep operational background.
And this is where it gets really interesting looking at these sources. They really highlight her recent job, Director General of Technology and Innovation. Some sources even framed her as potentially the real-life counterpart to James Bond's Q, which is, quite a description. What does that specific role tell us?
It immediately signals her focus, right? Integrating cutting-edge tech into intelligence work. This wasn't just like managing the IT department.
Yeah.
It suggests a really strategic role. How do you leverage technology for modern spying, for defense? But the sources also touch on her earlier life.
Oh, yeah.
Studied anthropology, actually, at Pembroke College, Cambridge. And she was on the women's rowing team.
Anthropology. That's interesting. Adds another layer.
It does. It paints a picture of someone quite diverse, maybe brings unconventional perspectives to a very traditional kind of role.
Okay, so beyond breaking that huge gender barrier, why is her appointment so significant for MI6, like right now?
Well, if you connect the dots from the sources, it really reflects MI6 actively trying to modernize and maybe move towards a more meritocratic approach.
Makes sense.
It brings them into line with MI5 and GCHQ. They've both had female leaders before. Her rise, especially with that tech background, it's seen as a direct response to how threats are changing.
Because it's not just trench coats and dead drops anymore, is it?
Precisely. Not at all. The sources really hammer this home cyber warfare, sophisticated digital threats. That's paramount now.
So her leadership coming from that Director General of Tech role.
Exactly. It positions MI6 to potentially be, well, more agile, more innovative in tackling these really complex, often digital-first challenges alongside, the traditional human intelligence work. That doesn't go away.
What sort of hurdles does the material suggest she might face, leading the agency now?
Yeah, that's a key point. The sources talk about navigating really intense geopolitical competition. Think state actors like China, Russia.
The usual suspects.
Right. Plus ongoing terrorism threats and managing that complex intersection of technology and intelligence. And then there's always the big challenge for agencies like MI6.
Secrecy versus
No, exactly. Balancing that need for absolute secrecy with the increasing demands for accountability, for transparency, especially in a democracy. That's a constant tightrope walk.
And her own journey joining in '99, now chief, what does that tell us about how MI6 itself might be trying to evolve?
It strongly suggests, I think, a move away from maybe older, less formal ways of recruitment and promotion. It points towards recognizing and promoting talent based on merit, based on the skills needed for the 21st century.
So less old boys network.
Potentially, yeah. Her paths suggest MI6 is serious about bringing different experiences, different perspectives right to the very top. It reflects a changing world and, frankly, the need to recruit from a much wider pool.
And maybe inspire others?
The sources certainly note that hope, that this will inspire more women, for example, to see intelligence careers as genuinely accessible. Representation really does matter when you're trying to attract the best talent.
How has this news generally landed, according to the sources? And just thinking out loud, could an appointment like this even start to shift how we, see spies in films or on TV?
The public reaction, as highlighted in the material, seems largely positive. It's generally framed as a progressive, forward-looking step. Though, of course, there's always some debate.
Symbolic versus real change.
Exactly. Is it mainly symbolic, or does it represent fundamental change? That question comes up. Popular culture? Yeah, it's definitely possible. As real-life intelligence gets more diverse, more tech-focused, Maybe future portrayals will move away from some of the old stereotypes, become a bit more reflective of reality.
So wrapping this up, what does all this mean for you, the listener? Blaise Metreweli's appointment is clearly groundbreaking. It signals not just a shift towards gender inclusivity at the very top of a traditionally male field.
Which is huge in itself.
Absolutely. But it also underlines the critical importance of technological expertise in modern intelligence. It kind of mirrors shifts towards diversity, towards modernization that we see or maybe want to see in lots of established institutions. It makes you think about how leadership in these secret worlds reflects or maybe even influences wider changes in society.
Absolutely. And it really leaves us with a significant question to chew on based on these sources.
Yeah.
Does Blaise Metreweli's appointment signal a fundamental deep shift in the core culture of MI6? Is it really going to alter how the agency operates, how it thinks?
Or is it more symbolic?
Or is its impact primarily symbolic?
Mm.
A vital step for representation, definitely, but maybe slower to filter down through the ranks. And whichever way it leans, what might that difference actually mean for the future of global intelligence work and the massive challenges these agencies are constantly facing?
That is a powerful question to leave with. Thank you so much for exploring this deep dive into the sources with us today.
My pleasure. Always interesting.
Until our next dive together,